Find out what it was like over there on the bench. Willard and Dibbs, glad you're with us and really honored to have Mike Brown, Warriors assistant, join us the morning after such a huge night. Good morning, Coach. Thank you for coming on, and how would you put into words the feeling on the bench last night?
Damn! Am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but holy, it was electric in there. I mean, the fans in the Bay are the best. I tell you what, even when I was on opposing teams coming here, I hated coming here. Even though the team wasn't always good, just the fans, they're so into it. They're so supportive. And to have Klay come back and make it be a home game, the electricity was off the charts. J.B. Bickerstaff, the head coach of the Cavs, is a good friend of mine, really good friend of mine. He said he's got a real young team. He said, he was telling his guys it's going to be like a playoff game in there. And a playoff game in January that's not, it's kind of meaningless. And his guys at the end, because I talked to him after the game, he told me that his guy said, one of his guys said, it was like a final, So kudos to the fans, kudos to the environment that, the team behind the scenes put on in there. But I tell you what, to have Klay have a game like that in front of the fans, it was an amazing experience.
It had to be adrenaline from the moment the day started. You see his teammates coming out and all in Klay Thompson regalia, and everybody is so Klay-centric, and then the introductions hit, and you see him stride out there. That had to be a moment where 31 months just kind of all squished down into just one moment.
It really was surreal, because the process is long, especially I can't even imagine being him and what he had to endure during that time. Not only him, these guys don't get a ton of credit because they're behind the scenes, but like Rick Celebrini and his staff, our medical staff behind the scenes, that on a daily, whether he's here or he's down in L.A. or he's wherever, because we'll send medical people to where he is from time to time, but the grind that they had to go through too, helping him get back out on the floor, because injuries like that, it's not like every 3 days you see a huge jump in improvement. It's a grind, and you have to have great patience throughout the process. And so I tip my hat off to Rick Celebrini, who's the head of our medical team, and his staff, but obviously more importantly to Klay, and then be able to see it all come together. You're like, is this real? Because it seemed like 2 weeks ago, it was like, no, he's still not ready. He's still not ready. He's still not ready. Now all of a sudden, he's going out there. He's going out there in real competition. He's not going out there against our video guys or against the guys from down in Santa Cruz. It's real. It's on, and it's really hard to describe the emotions going on because you're excited, but it's you want to cry, you want to scream, you want to hug him, you want to jump up and down. It was fantastic, and like I said, the fans made it that much more special with the electricity that they brought to the building.
Mike Brown is with us here on 95.7 The Game. Coach, as you can hear with all of us, no one's done celebrating last night. But I do wonder, as his minutes pick up, what does this create for all of you? The trickle down of figuring out, who loses minutes and how you keep what you've already got going. What's that process going to be like for you all?
It's going to be tough, but I'd rather have that problem than the opposite problem. Because I have been on day. Watch how they get killed for saying this, but I've been a part of some teams where you look down the bench and you stare for about 3 or 4 seconds, then you turn and watch the game, then you look back down the bench again for about 5 or 6 seconds, then you look back at the game, and then timeout comes, and it's like, who do we put in? I'm not sure. I've checked 3 or 4 times, but I don't know who we should go to. So in this situation here, this is a great problem to have. We got a lot of people to choose from. You talk about literally Draymond was pulled before the game, and you're talking about a guy in Juan who might not have played at all last night, or might have played a few minutes here and there with Draymond on the floor, goes to starting and impacting the game. So, yes, it's a great problem for our staff to have, but our guys know that in this day and age in sports, you have to stay ready, especially if you want to be on a team that's expected to win it all, because like Steve always says, strength in numbers. Everybody matters all the time because you never know when your number's going to be called. And Juan was ready to go. Juan didn't know he was going to start until we had our team meeting before the game. And he went out there and he produced for us. So that's a great problem to have. Steve's already got in front of it. He's talked to the team multiple times about it. And then he's talked to certain individuals that it's going to impact more than others in private conversations. So our guys are ready. I think our staff's ready. But it is, again, I reiterate, a fantastic problem to have.
Yeah, it's great to have number 11 back and to push everyone down the rotation just a little bit, at least temporarily. So as he slowly ramps up his minutes and you get more attention paid to him on offense, how much do you think this is going to help other players to kind of take some pressure off, particularly Steph Curry?
Yeah, no, it's going to help a lot of people because, Klay's size, his versatility, we can put him in the post. He's running off the screens. He's deadly in transition. And just his mere presence out on the floor is going to create havoc because whoever's guarding him is going to have to stay glued to him. So that creates that much more space. So to have him out there will really relieve the pressure that we have put on Steph and probably that he's put on himself, more than anything else, which is what I'm excited about. It'll give us an opportunity to hopefully at times, even though they don't necessarily always play the same position, but to give Steph a few more minutes of rest during the course of these games so that come playoff time, Steph is going into the playoffs as fresh as possible. Another person that I'm excited about that it was a little tough because we didn't get to see him perform with Klay last night, but is Draymond. Draymond's feel, his passing ability, all those other things are going to really come into play when you have a guy that moves like Klay and shoots like Klay. So, the assists are going to, in my opinion, are going to pile up just because of his presence. Because sometimes it's not him making shots, him coming off of a down screen. You're going to have two guys jumping at him, like two guys jump at Steph, and now you have somebody slipping to the basket. A guy like Draymond has a terrific feel for that, and his delivery with the basketball to those guys that are in positions to score is second to none. So it's going to impact a lot of people offensively, and then defensively. That's the part that I'm interested to see because he obviously was one of the best on-ball defenders in the game of basketball. He's great two-way player. Now to see him get out there, sit down, move his feet, guard some quicker guys like he used to before, guard some bigger guys, banging them in the post like he did before. I'm excited and interested to see how much he still has of that left because we're already a pretty good defensive team. Now you add a big guard like that with Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, Moon, it should take us to another level.
Coach, it's always a ton of fun to have you on. We'll let you run. Appreciate it so much. Klay's dad's coming on in 20 minutes. I know you know him so well just through the league and your time with the Lakers and everything. What would you suggest we ask Michael beyond the obvious?
I just want to know if he had anything to do at any time with Klay's recovery process. Because, Michael's a longtime NBA player.
Yeah.
He's been around the game a long time. I'd like to know what advice, as a father, first, and then as a professional athlete at the highest level himself, what advice he was giving Klay throughout the process, especially after he injured, after he got the second injury. When he came back. So to me, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
We'll throw it to him. Coach, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, guys. Hope your holidays were good, and looking to get this thing rocking the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to talking to you again. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Take care, guys.